No competing audio. No competing audio. Hey everybody, how you doing? Happy Friday. Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. Welcome to, I don't know what I call this. I call it something different every time. Coffee, craft, and chat, I think is what we're calling it today. And we are going to make some, now if I can separate them again. I don't know if y'all have seen this. Hello, 61288. How are you this morning? It is still morning. Yes, it's 11:15. I like to do this at like 9:30 because by this time of day I've moved on to Diet Coke. But 9:30 is getting harder to coordinate for me, so it might be more 11. So I don't know if you all have seen these old like vintage inspired egg boxes that people are decorating for Easter as an alternative to Easter baskets. They're really, really cute. And so I'm gonna try to make a couple of those today. So that's what we're gonna do this morning. I am going to just make sure that all of this is going where it's supposed to be going. That looks like it's where it's supposed to be. YouTube takes a minute, but that looks like it's where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna pull this up on YouTube so I can see any comments in the chat. The hard thing about YouTube is that if people are on watching and they make a comment in the chat, I can't see it later. I can only see live chat during the live. So if somebody asks a question and I miss it, I can't go back and answer it, which I don't love. Okay, we're going to angle my camera down. Hello, Bossy Dream Bracelets. I love that name. Hello. Thanks for joining. Hey, Tarina, how are you? And I'm going to, we're going to do this real quick. I'm going to angle my camera down. Okay. Try to do this without dropping my phone. I dropped my phone I knocked my phone out of the phone mount the other day. Doing that. And so now I'm trying to be extra careful, and I think that just makes it worse. So, it's like when you're trying to be quiet and then all of a sudden everything's loud because you're trying. So we have our little vintage inspired egg box. I got these off Amazon just because I wanted to try them, but I do actually have a lead on what might be actually real vintage ones. I'm not sure. Somebody saw them, said something to me about them. Do you want them? I'm like, yeah, but they're like checking to see if they're real, like the real deal, which I would take them anyway, even if they're not, but although, depending on how old they are, I'm not sure I would want to recommend that people put stuff in them, like candy and things in them. So we'll see. Okay, so this first one, I am going to paint the background. So we're going to use a little eggshell blue. This is our Chalk Couture chalk paste. And I'm going to water it down a little bit. Oops. Ooh, hello. Thin it out a little bit with some water. And make it a little bit easier to use just to paint. And we're going to try and do 3 of these here this morning. So we're going to paint this, we're going to let it dry, we're going to kind of hop over to another one and do a little background. And I call this messy painting. I'm not really going to try to cover the whole thing. I'm not going to make it even or pretty. I just want to add a little color to the background here. And it's Friday, so does anybody have any exciting plans for the weekend? I am teaching a class in the morning, an in-person class in the morning, and then I have some errands to run. I'm in a Facebook event on Sunday, which I really need to narrow down my my plan for my project, because I've got to make sure I have everything so that tomorrow I can run somewhere and grab something if I need it. I have like 15 things swirling in my head, and I need to make a decision, or at least narrow it down some. Trina, what are you teaching in the morning? Or not in the morning, but what are you teaching tomorrow? What's your project? Oh, let's see. What else is going on this weekend? I think that's really it for this weekend. Next weekend will be our monthly Costco trip, because that's like an hour drive for us. I'm in another event next Saturday. Haven't given any thought to that one, so probably wouldn't hurt this weekend to give a little thought to that. So these look kind of cool when you paint them, because it just, how the cardboard is, obviously doesn't absorb paint in all the places, so you just have this nice sort of distressed look to it, which I think is going to be really cute. Oh, nice. Nice. Ooh, I like that monthly add-on idea. Yeah, no, we have a Sam's here, but I'm not a Sam's shopper. So our nearest Costco is in Decatur, so it's about an hour. But I mean, it's not, it's an easy drive, and we're gonna stock up on like steak and ground beef and stuff now that it's getting warm enough to grill. So that's the paint on the first one. So I'm going to set that one aside and let it dry. And then do a couple of backgrounds on the other two. Hey, Joe. How are you? Got some folks watching over on YouTube. I'm trying to watch the comments in the chat on YouTube. If you want to come over into Whatnot, you've got that little QR code. Bye, Trina. Thanks for watching. You've got a little QR code up in the corner that will bring you over onto Whatnot if you want to watch in Whatnot. Same if anybody's watching me over on YouTube or on Facebook. You are welcome to stay where you are. You are welcome to come over into Whatnot. You should have a little QR code up in the corner somewhere that you can scan. So the next one, we're going to do a polka dot background. And I am going, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do this buffalo plaid background on this one. And I am going to use our surface wax because of this corrugated cardboard. I definitely don't want to run the risk of, when I put this transfer down, because of the sticky, I don't want to run the risk of the transfer pulling up any of my paste or even pulling up any of that cardboard. So we're going to use a little bit of surface wax just to help smooth everything out. It's going to leave a bit of a, I don't know, film, I guess, on the egg box, but once you put the design down on it, and then once it actually dries, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Just going to try to spread this just a thin layer. A lot of times when you use this like on a wood surface or on paper, you're going to want to spread it on, let it dry a little bit, and then buff it off, so you buff off any excess. But I can tell just by the way the egg box looks that it's absorbing this wax, so I'm really not going to need to really buff anything off, so I'm not going to worry about that. I didn't do my show notes. I'm just now realizing. I apologize. So I didn't put up any show notes, which I usually will just throw up there where you can follow me on all of the things. But it's all Girl Friday Crafts on everything, on Facebook, on YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. Instagram, I think, is Girl Friday Crafts 73 for whatever reason. But everything else is Girl Friday Crafts. So we're going to put this down in the middle. I'm not going to have the design on the whole entire top of the box on this one. Now these are interesting because this doesn't necessarily lay flat because of the opening in the egg carton, the little prong type things in the egg carton. Try to prop that up a little bit. And we're going to use a dark background or darker background, and then put a lighter color with the design on top. So let's grab this shimmer watermelon. And the transfer is not sticking completely flat to the egg box, so I don't want to have any bleed, so I'm gonna try to kind of hold it down as I go, and just do like one row on the egg box at a time. So that I can kind of keep the transfer a little more in place. I might try the next one without the wax and just see what happens. I was a little nervous to do that because I didn't want to tear the box, but I might have been overthinking it a little bit. So we're gonna do that row and then come down and do these two. I can kind of hold this in place. And these shimmer pastes tend to be a little more forgiving anyway. It's funny the noise it makes. You hear that squeegee striking against that cardboard. But these shimmer pastes tend to be a little more forgiving. Oh, see, I'm not sticking all the way down there. Hold that in place. I find that I'm less likely to have any sort of lift of the paste if I'm using a shimmer than the matte. I'm not really sure why, and that may not be everybody's experience. That just might be my experience. I could also be completely making that up. So there's also that. And then, you know, these definitely don't have to be perfect. These are, because these are the, you know, kind of vintage egg boxes, you want a little bit of a distressed look anyway. So if I pull up a little bit of the paste or anything like that, then, you know, it's just going to kind of be in line with what we're working with. So this is what that one looks like right now. A little crooked. So we'll have to work on that. Right, we're going to put this one to the side. Hey, Carlotta, how are you? Put that one to the side and let it dry. And then I'm going to get rid of that and get this out of my way. And then we're going to do one more background. And then they should all start to dry. And then I can come back and decorate them. And then what you can do is you just put, well, whatever kind of Easter grass you use. So it can be the, you know, the plastic Easter grass that we grew up with. Although the crinkle paper. Oh, nice. Well, thank you for stopping in on your lunch hour. I appreciate it. You can use the, you know, the crinkle paper kind of Easter grass and, you know, put on the inside, and then you can fill it with candy. Or if you were making one for an older, like, you know, teenager or even an adult. Our son's 21. He still gets an Easter basket. So, you know, we put a gift card in there. There's definitely, I mean, there's all kinds of room inside here, even once you get crinkled grass in there, the crinkle paper in there, to fill it up with some good Easter treats. So we're going to try this one without the wax and see what happens. With my little polka dot transfer here. So we're just going to lay this down. And then with this one, I can cover the whole entire top of the box. Sorry, making my phone shake. And what are we gonna do here? Let's do make color choices. That is sometimes my hardest decision. All right, so I'm gonna use, this is called Shimmer Melon. And I'll hold this down flat. And the other thing that I could do, maybe, is let this dry. I can clean this transfer and lay it back down again with the polka dots in different places so that I could get more polka dots on it. So I could, you know, turn it sideways and get some polka dots going at an angle, and then I could use different colors, and that would give me a bunch of different colors on here too. So that would be kind of fun. Might have to try that. Okay, gotten myself kind of tangled up here. And to hold this box down flat. Alright, there's that. So this is going to tell me, oh yeah, this actually I think works fine without wax. Just pull it up nice and slow. Oh, that's cute. Okay, well that's good to know. So I think I don't necessarily have to use the surface wax. Yes. So Carlotta, that is exactly what really kind of made me want to try these. Was thinking about my son, and even like I have a 23-year-old nephew and a 17-year-old niece. And I was thinking about making some of these and sending them home for my sister to use for Easter baskets for the older two. So that, I think that's super cute as it is, depending on what I decide to put on it. But I think it would also be really cute if I laid that transfer back down and offset the polka dots so that I had maybe just one more layer of polka dots on there with a different color. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll see what I decide to do there. So now we're going to come back to this one. It's the first one I started on. And put my lids on my paste here. Kind of trying to get better about cleaning up as I go a little bit. Not my strong suit. But then I don't have a mess. I can't find stuff to try to even put it away. So this is dry, so that's good. I am going to put wax on top of this though. So anytime that you are chalking on top of chalk paste or acrylic paint, especially if you haven't given it like 24 hours to truly dry and cure, I do recommend that you use the surface wax, because that really prevents that transfer from pulling up any of your paint or paste when you lift it up off your surface. Now, if it's an older transfer and you used it a lot and some of the sticky isn't quite so sticky, then it might not be as much of an issue. But this transfer that I'm using, so it says a balanced diet is chocolate in both hands. This is brand new, so I haven't used this one yet. So it's going to be super sticky. And I want to make sure that I don't pull any of that eggshell paste up when I pull up the transfer. Now, I mean, again, doing that really is just going to give it some of a distressed look, so probably not that big a deal at the end of the day. But, and as I experiment with these more, you know, I may intentionally not do it so I create some of that distressing. But right now we're going to try it this way because I want to do it the right way first before I start messing around with technique. So we're going to put this down. And try and get it as flat as possible against that surface. And then I'm going to use espresso. I'm just going to do the design just this time in one color. And then again, as I do a couple more of these, I will play around with multiple colors, what technique works best to do that. There's a paste and peel where you paste in one color, peel up the transfer, let it just sort of naturally fall back down, and then use the next color that you want. And then there's a technique that I like, partially because of the name, partially because of the look, called Hot Mess, where you marble the colors together with your finger and then take the squeegee and spread it all the way through. And that is a really cool technique. It's especially pretty on florals. And then there's also, I am once again blanking on the name, but it's the technique where you create like a gradient kind of look. And I don't know why it is it's been escaping me the past couple of times I've tried to talk about that technique. What it's actually called is I just blank. Yes, Carlotta, I will absolutely send you a link. I will go back in and do a video, do a description for the video, and I will actually absolutely share the link. And then I'll message you in the group too to make sure you get it. All right, I think this is going to be really, really cute. And the fun thing is that, you know, you can just create such variation in the color. So even if I used espresso multiple times just to do that transfer, I can paint the top of the box in different colors, and it's just going to make it all look so different. I actually think it would be cute to do this in the reverse too. So paint the top of the box with the espresso, and then put the bunny on in that eggshell blue. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and we're going to let that dry. And when I'm going to decorate these other two, and when they're dry, I'm going to grab some of the crinkle paper that I bought and kind of show you all what the finished product looks like completely. Okay, so this is the shimmer watermelon. So I can tell, I'm not sure how much you all can tell, but this is what this looks like in the jar. And when it dries, it really is this color. But dried on this, it actually has more of a hot pink look than a watermelon look. So that's kind of cool. Get a little bit of color variation as it dries on the cardboard. I like that. Get that out of the way, and then what am I going to put on top of this one? So I've got this bunny, or this bunny, which would actually be really cute. Got this. So this is a layered, doesn't have to be layered, but it's a layered transfer. So this is kind of a background, and then this goes on top. It says EB Confectioners Candy Company, and then I've got several jelly bean transfers. I've got all of these, which I really, really like that little Easter bunny. He's really cute. Or egg hunts. And then I've got a couple of transfers that are different, different eggs. So some of these I think are a little bit too busy to put on top of that buffalo plaid design. But I kind of like this one, which is the bunny that says Happy Easter. What is my other one? My other one's just the polka dots, right? Okay, so I think we are going to, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to put this little bunny on here. And I'm going to try, so we're going to put this little, I'm going to use this little bunny. And I'm going to grab a paste color that I did not grab earlier. Actually grabbed two paste colors that I did not grab earlier. Because I'm going to try something. I'm going to get brave now. Famous last words. But we're going to put the bunny on with my vanilla paste. Just right here. And then I'm going to grab some green. Where's Meadow? So I grabbed some green to do the stem on the flower. So our little bunny is holding the flower. And then I've got some yellow that I'll use for the flower itself. So I'm going to attempt a little bit of a paste and peel here. I'm going to get out a couple of smaller tools that will help me do that. Are going to put a little bit of surface wax on here. So if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, I am trying to watch the comments in the chat so that I can respond to any questions. But if you want to hop over on Whatnot, you can do that. You have a little QR code up in the corner of your screen, and if you just scan that, I don't know if you click on it if it'll take you into Whatnot. If you scan that QR code, if you're watching on your phone, or if you have your phone, it'll take you into Whatnot. So, but I am trying to watch the comments. Now the live chat on YouTube I cannot see after this is over, so just bear that in mind. If you have a question you want me to come back and answer, if you put it in the video comments, I'll be able to see that later. So there is something on my transfer here. Hope that's not. We'll see. Might mess up my little bunny. So we're gonna, well, let's try and get it straight. Okay, so we're gonna put that down. Okay. And then going to start with my vanilla and try to find one of my smaller, I take my squeegees all the time and I cut them into smaller pieces just for moments like this where I want to be really particular about where I put my paste. So we're going to do the vanilla first and get our bunny done. Try and hold this transfer down like I was earlier so that I don't get any bubbles. Try to prevent any bleed. So these transfers work like stencils, but they're sticky on the back, so they're designed to stay in place a little bit more. And there's mesh in the negative space, whereas a stencil is open and you can kind of just put your finger through it. These have mesh, just kind of designed to help keep your medium from bleeding through. And then I am using Chalk Couture chalk paste, which is designed to work with these stencils or with these transfers. Alright, so we have our bunny. And then this is what I was referring to earlier when I said something about a paste and peel technique. So I'm going to peel this transfer up just a little bit. All I want to do is take the transfer off the bunny. I don't want to pull it up all the way because I haven't done the flower yet and I don't want to have to try to reposition it. If that happens, you can absolutely do it. I recommend that you wait until it's dry and then try to put it back down. And if you're, when I was first learning, hey Ashley, how are you? When I was first learning how to do this and did multiple colors, that's how I would do it. I would not do anything all at one time. So I would let it dry. I would let the paste dry, wash the transfer, put it back down, line everything up, and then do my other color. Over time, I just, you get more comfortable. And so now I'm pretty comfortable with paste and peel. Hot mess is still my favorite just because of how it looks. But, ooh, my meadow is drying out on me. So this chalk paste can be reactivated if it starts to dry out on you with just a little bit of distilled water. I didn't think it had been that long since I had used this, but apparently it had. So you just add a little bit of distilled water and stir it up. You just do a little bit at a time so you don't get too much water in it. You can also watercolor, like paint watercolor with this by adding water to it, or I oftentimes will just dip my paintbrush in the water and dip a wet paintbrush into my paste jar just to get a little bit of paste on there. And then you can use that to create a watercolor effect on your design, which is kind of fun. That's really fun with acrylic surfaces because you have that clear surface to work from, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with that. All right, so I'm going to use this. It's called a detail tool. It has this really tiny squeegee end on it. And so I'm going to use that to go over where the stem is. And I need to angle some more light down here for me. Okay. Go over where the stem is on this flower. Try really hard not to get any green on the bunny itself. Not the end of the world, but that's my goal. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to pull this up from the bottom just to get this transfer off the flower stem. And then the last piece is to do the flower itself, and I'm going to use this. It's a shimmer yellow paste. It's called Pucker. Sorry, I've got some, how I have the light angled I know is giving me some shadows, so I apologize about that. I'll be able to move it in just a second. This dark brown of the egg box. Let's make it a little bit difficult to see my negative space. I'm going to fill in that yellow. We've got Hazy Ames Paper and Crafts. Hello, thank you for joining. I am decorating some vintage inspired, they're not true vintage, egg boxes for Easter. All right, so that's done. Okay, so I'm gonna put this light back up so the shadow is gone. Okay, so that's that one. And then because I've got room on the top and the bottom, I have a Happy Easter somewhere. Actually, I think it's sitting right here. Yep. So on the bottom of this egg transfer, I have, just this that says Happy Easter that I can move this, that I could just take this part and chalk it on the top of this box so that it fills up a little bit of that space. the other thing that I have that I could do is add the jelly beans. So I have the other transfer that has the jelly beans on it, or I've got this that I could easily just add some jelly beans. I like Happy Easter better, so we'll probably do that. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And then for folks that just joined, this is the other one we did. This is the first one we did. So I just painted the top of the box with an eggshell blue chalk paste, and then applied that transfer, that design, with it's called espresso, just a dark brown. So I'm really happy with how that one turned out. I think that's really cute. All right, so we're gonna get all of this stuff out of my way, and then we have one more to decorate, which is this one. So this one, I just put some polka dots on it, and what we talked about earlier is, I'm not going to do it now because I want to get this one finished to show you all, but I could take that transfer with the polka dots and lay it down, once it's clean and dry, lay it back down on this in kind of in an offset, so that I get the polka dots in different places and add more polka dots to it with a different color, which I think would be really cute. Now this one, I think the background design is sort of faint enough that I can add one of these eggs that has like more design, but it won't overpower the polka dots, or the polka dots won't overpower that. I could also, yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. And I have not done anything. Done anything with this one yet? No, I think I did. But I like this one. This one's probably my favorite one on this particular design. Oh, that would be really cute too. Okay, sorry. Get distracted. Too many choices. Too many choices. Too many choices. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of actually, I'm going to do that without any surface wax, only because that's not that much of a design. There's not that much chalk paste on there. I am just going to fuzz this transfer really well. That's what we call this this process. So I'm not really completely on camera, so let me do that. I'm going to move this over. So I have this fuzzing cloth, and you just take the transfer and you put it down. You don't have to have a fuzzing cloth. A microfiber cloth works just fine. In a pinch, you can use a cotton t-shirt. You just want to make sure you use something that is not going to leave any lint or anything on your transfer, so it doesn't get into your design. So I'm just going to do that really well. And then we're going to take this, and I'm going to put the egg down on here. And hey Stephanie, how are you? Thanks for joining. Put that down on there, and I'm going to grab my baby wipes because I'm doing okay on time here. And so I am going to show you all one of the other ways that I apply multiple colors using these pastes. And I'm going to need some baby wipes for this one because it gets messy. So we're going to use, what are we going to use in here? We're going to use Shimmer Violet. I'm going to use the pucker again. I'm going to use the Strawberry Swirl because I haven't used this yet. So I'm going to open this. Use that. So we'll start with this one first, and then I'll throw a little bit of vanilla in there just for a little bit of a neutral. So this is called the hot mess technique because it makes a mess because it looks like a mess. So you're going to take your paste and you're going to start to apply it to your transfer in circles. So you just want to put it in various places, kind of all over. Whatever, if there's a particular color that you want to be the most predominant in the design, you want to use more of that than anything else. If you don't care, if it doesn't matter, or if you want them, you know, the colors to kind of be equally distributed, then you just want to think about that as you apply your colors. And then you're going to want to make sure you clean your fingers really well in between each one. So that's what the baby wipes are for. Or you can use, you know, wet paper towel or Clorox wipes, whatever you have, whatever's easy. You just want to make sure that you clean your fingers really well so that when you are putting your finger in another paste color, you aren't adding, like putting color in there that you didn't want. So I didn't want to stick my finger in my jar of pucker if I still had strawberry swirl on there. You can do this with stir sticks or with our squeegees if you don't want to use your fingers. I started out that way. When I, oops, I'm going to have to put another color there. When I started doing hot mess, I would use the squeegee to apply it and then just use different squeegees instead of, you know, cleaning my fingers in between. But now I just do it this way. No particular reason. Using the squeegees works fine. But I don't know. I don't know. Just no real reason. This I think is actually a little bit easier. I feel like I get better circles, I guess, so probably does make a little bit of a difference, but checking my fingers to make sure I'm not cross-contaminating here. And then I want to make sure I leave room. I have a shimmer violet that we're going to pop in here too, so I want to make sure I leave some room for that. Now, when you put in your last color, it's a little less of an issue of how much paste you get on your fingers, 'cause you're going to start blending it all anyway, although just got some yellow. I mean, you do still want to be careful, but you can start to blend as you go if you need to, just to get that color mixed in. So like I need to put a little purple there because I put 2 yellow right on top of each other. A little bit there. Make sure I get a little bit down here. And then when I'm done getting my purple on here where I want it, we're going to start blending the circles in together. That's probably good. So I don't necessarily have to clean my finger this time. I will. And so now we're just going to go through, and in any order, doesn't really matter. You're just going to start making those circles bigger. And that's going to start to blend the colors together. And you can blend them together as much or as little as you want. You just want to make sure that you don't blend so much that the color starts to turn brown. And if you're doing this and you realize that you didn't put enough paste somewhere or you didn't do enough color distribution, you can always just pick up a little bit on your finger and move it down. You'll create another little dot somewhere where you might need to spread some things out. When I first started doing this technique, that was probably my biggest problem, is not using enough paste. And so as I was making the circles, I wouldn't have enough in a certain spot, so I'd have to spread it around. And then we're going to take our squeegee and we're just going to, I'm going to need this, very lightly, just scrape off the excess. Now sometimes if I'm doing multiple projects, what I would do is, instead of putting this excess on a paper towel, I would put it in a color tray and then use it later for something small. Because you can get some really cool color variation from this excess paste. And try to get that line out of there. And then we're going to pull this up really slow. Hope I'm not pulling up any of my, or too much of my cardboard. I think I'm pulling up a little bit of the cardboard. Just because I think some of that paste started to dry. And so then we've got this. This is also called a marbling technique, because you've got this sort of marbled looking flower on top of those polka dots. Hold that up so I can see it a little better. So it's a very, very cool technique. It's a very cool way to add multiple colors. And then similar to this little guy right here, I can take that Happy Easter, just the words from that Happy Easter transfer, and just add that across in like a much darker color, like a color that's really going to pop on top of that. Or you could spell out somebody's name, like you can personalize these really easily with either letter stencils or vinyl. So we're going to put that one off to the side. And we're going to add Happy Easter to this little guy. Let's see. I used this one before, but I don't remember how I cut it. How did I cut it? Cut it very weirdly is how I cut it. Okay, so we're just going to take this. And this is dry. I want to try to keep the sticky off of that as much as possible, just because I don't want it to pull any up. I'm going to come up here. And then I'm going to use that shimmery yellow, the same that I used in the flower. And chalk on this. Let me know in the comments. I'm trying to watch comments, so if you have any questions, just let me know. Hope everybody is having a good Friday so far. Very excited that it's Friday. And I'm going to pull this up real slow. Well, that didn't work. All right, I can fix that later. So there's some indentations in the tops of these containers that I think come from how they've been stacked on top of each other. And so, I don't know if you can see, there's that indentation right where the top of my H was, and so it didn't really have anything to stick to. So I'll have to watch that as I go forward. Now I'll be able to fix that later when I'll wash that transfer, let it dry, and just lay it back down and use a different kind of tool that'll allow me to push a little harder and get the paste to go down into that indentation. I didn't really catch it before I did that. So if you ever need to put a transfer down or use a paintbrush or a tool to fix where you've chalked, I always tell people let it dry first. I have messed up so many things by trying to fix it when the paste is wet. And that just doesn't work very well. So, and then I do definitely want to put some something else on top of this one. I feel like it needs a little something, like I said, a phrase or somebody's name or something on top of that one. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that one. I might try to, I'm curious how vinyl would adhere to that. So I might try that. Might print Happy Easter out in some vinyl. And so this is dry. So I'm going to grab the crinkle paper. I think it's a this one. Yes. So this is my crinkle paper, and I bought just the brown craft paper and then also some that was cut from colored paper so that I could do both options and combine a little bit of both. Also easily make my own with my shredder. Ooh, this is going to be a mess. This is vacuum sealed. Oh, that's funny. I should have opened this earlier. I wasn't thinking about that. Alright, so we are going to cut this open very carefully and with just a very small cut here. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to be able to dump this into for storage. Because once I open this completely, it's going to expand on me. So turn this over. And then you'll just take your crinkle paper, or again, you know, if you have the plastic Easter grass, and just kind of fill the spots for the eggs. And then you can put in here whatever you want. So if you have, you know, my grandmother used to dye, you know, we used to dye Easter eggs with my grandmother before Easter. And so she had us each dye one that we then got back in our Easter baskets, you know, when we were old enough to know where the Easter baskets came from. So, you know, if you do something like that, if you dye Easter eggs, you could fill these with the dyed Easter eggs. You can fill them with the plastic eggs with little things in it. You know, you can fit a gift card easily in here, fit some candy in here. all kinds of things. And then actually going to use these for an event in May as part of a Mother's Day gift, make and take. So I'm going to decorate the tops accordingly, and then people are going to have they'll be able to build their own Mother's Day gift box. So that's what the inside looks like, and then just close it up. And you can make it so that you've got some of the grass, kind of sticking out around the edges. And then they've got that, so a little bit of an alternative to an Easter basket. So yeah. All right. I'll back up here where I can see you all. So thank you all so much for watching. This is over on YouTube, Girl Friday Crafts, and Facebook as Girl Friday Crafts. So if you have questions that you didn't get to ask here on Whatnot, you can hop over there and put those in the comments, and I'll make sure to answer them. I will be back next Friday, probably more like 11:15 as opposed to I was originally doing these at like 9:30. But I'll be back next week with a different project. And it was good to see you all. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great weekend. And I will talk to you all later. Let's see. What do we got? Let's go. Let's do a raid. Let me see who's out and about in the oh, Bree is on. So let's go say hi to Bree. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you.